Have you ever found yourself thinking about what it would be like to work from home, have more freedom and no longer depend on a boss or a job that doesn't value you? Maybe you've already researched how to make money on the internet, how to start freelancing, how to turn your skills into income, but stopped because you found everything too difficult, technical, or even far from your reality. And I understand, because most of the content out there seems to be made for those who already have a business running, already have followers, already know how to program. Or else they talk about AI as if it were a separate world, inaccessible, difficult, full of technical terms. But what if I told you that there are ordinary women with no training in technology, no previous experience, often with small children at home, who are just starting to freelance, using artificial intelligence to deliver simple services, and already earning money in the first month? The truth is that artificial intelligence is already changing the job market. And this is not a prediction for the future. It's already happening. Companies are laying off entire teams and replacing tasks with automation. Content platforms are being powered by AI-powered texts. Marketing agencies are hiring people who know how to operate tools like ChatGPT to deliver campaigns faster and at less cost. And those who don't know how to use this technology, unfortunately, will be left behind. But here's what almost no one is telling you. You don't need to become a programmer. You don't need to learn how to create artificial intelligence. You just need to learn to use it to your advantage. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. Any woman, even without experience, can use ChatGPT to get started in the freelance market, offering simple and valuable digital services, using what she already knows how to do. It doesn't matter if you've never worked online. If you already know how to write well, review, translate, organize tasks, put together ideas, or are simply curious about social networks and content creation, you already have the foundation. What remains is to understand how to transform this into a service that someone would pay for. And ChatGPT comes in as your support tool, as your silent partner behind the scenes. Maybe now you're thinking, but where do I start? How do I find clients? What exactly can I offer? How will I know if I'm doing it right? These are legitimate doubts, and that's why, throughout this video, I'm going to give you a direct, practical step-by-step guide, tested by other women who have already started and are reaping results. My mission here is not just to teach you a new skill, it's showing you a door. Because I believe that artificial intelligence can be a threat, but it can also be the greatest opportunity of your life, if you know how to use it. And to do this, you only need two things: a cell phone or computer with internet access, and the desire to get started. The rest, you'll learn along the way. And I will be here to guide you. So if you're tired of depending on a fixed salary, feel trapped in a job that doesn't make sense, or simply want to have more autonomy, stay with me until the end of this video. Because today, I'm going to show you how ChatGPT can be your first step towards independence in the digital world, even if you're starting completely from scratch. Now that you understand the importance of starting to use artificial intelligence to your advantage, especially if you are looking for a new way of working, entrepreneurship, or creating income from scratch, let's delve deeper into this conversation. Because there's a real reason for so much urgency, and it starts with a question that you may have already asked yourself. What will happen to my work in the next few years? This is the question that is on the minds of thousands of women. And the reason for this is simple. The world of work is undergoing the biggest transformation in recent decades. And unlike other changes, this one isn't giving anyone time to prepare. If before we heard that technology will change the market as a distant prediction, today this has become reality. And, unfortunately, the impacts are beginning to be felt first by those who have less access to information, less time to study, and less support to reinvent themselves. Exactly the profile of the majority of women in Brazil and around the world. Maybe you've already felt this on your skin. The feeling of being left behind. The frustration of having studied for years, investing time and money in training, and now seeing that the profession you chose is threatened. Or simply the fear of not knowing what to do next. Many women are seeing their positions being automated, their functions losing space to tools that do in minutes what took them hours. And do you know which is the worst? It's just that no one teaches you how to react to it. You don't learn in school how to deal with AI replacement. You don't learn in college how to reposition your career when the market changes completely in a few months. And most importantly, no one teaches you how to build a new source of income based on the tools that are shaping the future. And that's why you're here, because you feel like something needs to change, and you are looking for an answer. And the truth is that there is an answer, yes, but it's not on traditional paths. It is about learning to use what you have today, your knowledge, your skills, your life experience, with the support of artificial intelligence to transform it into a sellable digital service. And that's where AI freelancing comes in. Now, before getting into the how-to, it is important to understand what is happening behind the scenes of this movement. Why has ChatGPT become so important for the job market? And why is this tool especially powerful for women starting from scratch? Let's start with the direct impact. Companies around the world are implementing artificial intelligence to reduce costs. This means layoffs, restructuring, and more demands for productivity. But it also means a growing demand for self-employed professionals who know how to deliver results with speed and intelligence. And in this scenario, those who know how to use AI stand out. And here comes a crucial point. Using AI doesn't mean being technical. You don't need to know how to program. You don't need to understand the inner workings of ChatGPT. You just need to learn to ask, to guide, to lead the tool so it can generate content or solution that meets a client's needs. And this kind of knowledge is completely accessible. You can learn from videos like this, with daily practice, with curiosity. What you need now is direction and action. But there is a second point, deeper and perhaps more delicate, that we need to talk about. The emotional impact of this transformation in the job market. Many women are feeling completely undervalued. You can have years of experience, have built a solid career, and suddenly be compared to a machine. You may have started a family, taken care of children, managed your home and work for years, and still be told that you need to learn something new to remain relevant. This feeling of frustration, of impotence, of constantly chasing losses is real. And I want to tell you something that no one tells you clearly. It's not your fault for feeling this way. You didn't do anything wrong. The world is changing too fast. And yes, you are being cruel to those who didn't have the time or support to prepare. But I also want to tell you something else. You don't need to sit still. Artificial intelligence is not just for big companies. It's not just for those who studied engineering or work at Google. It can, and should, be used by you. And when you understand this, everything changes. You start to realize that you can use ChatGPT to create a social media service without needing to be an expert, which can offer text proofreading, creation of bios for Instagram, content planning, product descriptions, email marketing strategies, all with the support of AI, which will help you do more with more confidence. And the most powerful thing about it all is that, over time, you start to build something of your own. A portfolio, a clientele, a new source of income, and most importantly, a new place in the market where you position yourself as someone prepared for the future. And this construction begins with one step, with a choice. You can continue waiting for the market to recognize your value, or you can start today to learn how to transform what you already know how to do into something sellable with the help of artificial intelligence. And I will repeat, no technical training required, neither a certificate nor a perfect CV. You need practice, strategy, and direction. And that's what I want to give you from now on. Now that you understand why so many women are using ChatGPT to start a new path in the digital market, it's time to take the next step with clarity. Let's explore together, in detail, how to apply this in practice, from the type of service you can offer to how to use the tool in the most efficient way possible. You will leave with concrete and applicable ideas, ready to put into action. Now that you understand why the market is changing, why so many professions are being impacted, and why ChatGPT can be a great ally in this scenario, it's time to get your hands dirty. And the first thing you need to know is you already have skills that can be transformed into service. Maybe you still aren't clear about what these skills are, because you've never stopped to look at them as something valuable. But they are there. Do you write well? Do you know how to proofread texts? Do you have good communication? Are you creative with ideas? Organized? Have you ever helped someone with marketing or social media? Even informally, this all counts. What we're going to do now is show you how to use ChatGPT to transform these skills into something concrete, which can be sold as a digital service. And to do this, the first step is to understand how ChatGPT works in practice. ChatGPT is a language model that responds to written commands, called prompts. In other words, you type an instruction, and it responds with a text, an idea, a structure, a review, a creative suggestion, among many other things. The secret is in know how to ask. The clearer and more targeted your command, the better the result. And this is where the magic begins. Let's imagine some real scenarios. Do you want to offer the service of creation of professional bios for Instagram? This is something extremely simple, but in high demand. You open ChatGPT and type, "Create a professional Instagram bio for an architect specializing in residential interiors, with a focus on high-end women." Within seconds, you will receive 2 or 3 suggestions. You may ask for adjustments, a more sophisticated tone, or a more emotional version. With this, you deliver a service that can charge between 30 reals and 100 reals, depending on your approach and the package. Another example, you want to work with content for social networks. You can offer subtitle packages, post ideas, calls for reels, all with ChatGPT as your creative partner. You can create 5 Instagram post ideas for a women's fashion store with a light and relaxed tone, focusing on self-esteem and seasonal trends. You can also work with product description for e-commerce. Small businesses, online stores, and even artisans need persuasive descriptions to sell more. You type, "Write a product description for a handmade necklace with natural stones, aimed at women who seek elegance and connection with nature." ChatGPT gives you the base, and you finish it off with your personal touch. If you are proficient in writing, you can offer text proofreading, formatting, for ebooks, writing commercial emails, scripting for videos, or podcasts. The difference is not in doing the work alone, but in knowing use AI as a co-pilot. It speeds up the process, expands your creativity, and allows you to deliver more, with more quality and less wear and tear. Now, you may be wondering, but how do you turn this into a service that someone buys? The answer is in how you position yourself. You can create a profile on Fiverr, Workana, 99 Freelas, or even Instagram. The important thing is to communicate clearly what you deliver, to whom, and what the benefit is. Example, instead of saying text creation with AI, you can offer strategic captions for Instagram based on artificial intelligence for entrepreneurs who want to sell more with less effort. See how perception changes. The client wants the result. He doesn't care if you used AI, if you used post-it notes, or if you wrote by hand. He wants something that solves his pain. And this is what you deliver. Solutions. If you want to start offering entry-level services with low risk and fast delivery, here are some suggestions that work very well. Creating bios for Instagram, business name suggestions, social media content ideas, product descriptions for online stores, editing and proofreading texts, email marketing structure, short scripts for videos on Instagram or YouTube. All of these services can be done with the support of ChatGPT. You can offer simple packages with affordable prices at the beginning and adjust your price as you gain experience and positive feedback. And yes, you can start even without having a portfolio. Just create fictitious examples with imaginary customer profiles. Use ChatGPT to simulate situations and create a PDF with your delivery models. This is enough to spark the interest of the first customers. Now, an important point. ChatGPT does not replace you. He adds, you are still the creative mind. You still make the decisions. What changes is that you gain speed, consistency, and productivity. And that, in the current market, is gold. Women who are learning to use AI in a practical way are repositioning themselves in the market much faster. They are gaining customers, increasing their income, and most importantly, regaining control of their own career. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about it all is that this transformation does not require permission. You don't have to wait for someone to hire you or make a painful career transition. You just need to start with the resources you have today, your way, in your time. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of a lot of people. Most are still paralyzed, afraid to start. You don't. You are deciding to act, and that makes all the difference. The path is not easy, but it is possible, and you don't have to do it alone. Now that you understand how to use ChatGPT to offer real services, transform ideas into delivery, and start generating income digitally, the next step is simple. Choose the first service, test a prompt, and take your first step. This is how it starts. At this point, you may be feeling a mix of excitement and doubt, and this is completely natural. You understood the impact of artificial intelligence. You saw how ChatGPT can be a powerful ally. You discovered real ways to transform your skills into digital services. But still, you may be wondering, should I start now or wait a little longer? And this is where most people get stuck, because the most common thought is, I'll wait until I feel more prepared, or I need to study more before I start. But time is passing. The market is not waiting. And those who are moving now, even with uncertainty, are reaping the first fruits. What I want to show you now is what happens when we choose to postpone. Many women postpone their own transformation because they believe they need to know everything before taking the first step. But the reality is that preparation does not come before action. It happens along the way. You will only gain clarity as you begin. You will only feel safe, confident, and ready after taking the first steps. Meanwhile, the world continues to transform. Companies are learning to operate with fewer people because they are adopting automation. Small businesses are hiring AI-savvy freelancers because it means cost-effective productivity. And those who know how to deliver value efficiently will continue to have opportunities. Anyone who waits too long may find themselves fighting for space in a market that will already be much more demanding. Today, there is still a competitive advantage in being a professional who combines human skills with intelligent tools. It is still possible to stand out simply by knowing how to use ChatGPT to solve problems. But in a short time, this will stop being a differentiator and become a basic requirement. The urgency here is not based on fear, but rather on logic. When you join a movement early, you build authority faster, understand the rules of the game before most, and start to be seen as a reference. If you wait, you arrive at a scenario where prices have already fallen, competition has grown, and the public is more demanding. Therefore, starting now is not an empty rush. It's a smart strategy. It is at this exact moment that the market is opening up space for new professionals. And this space is filled by those who enter with courage, even without knowing everything. And we're not talking about big changes. We're talking about starting with a simple service. To test an idea, to create a profile, to send a first proposal. These are small actions that open big doors. If you want freedom, flexibility, financial autonomy, and a job that makes sense with your lifestyle, the time to start is now. Not in 6 months. Not when you finish another course. Now, and before you think that this means rushing, doing it without thinking. It's exactly the opposite. Starting now is about respecting yourself. It's about positioning yourself. It's about no longer accepting standing still waiting for the market to decide what will be left for you. You don't need to wait for a crisis to knock on your door. You don't have to wait to be fired, lose customers, or see your area being swallowed up by automation. You can act sooner, get ahead, prepare intelligently. And preparing doesn't mean studying for years. It means choosing a service to test. Create a simple portfolio. Learn how to ask good questions for ChatGPT and put it out into the world. The urgency is also in the window of opportunity that is still open. Today, knowing how to use AI is still impressive. It still attracts looks. It still generates curiosity. But soon, this will become standard, and anyone who doesn't adapt will be seen as outdated. If you want to build a prominent position in digital, you need to start showing yourself now. You need to position yourself as a professional who is ready for the present and the future. And there's more. Acting now also gives you an emotional advantage. Because the longer you put it off, the more anxiety grows. But doubt takes over, and it becomes more difficult to start. But when you take a step today, no matter how small, something changes inside you. You start to see yourself as someone who is in the game, that is moving. And that feeling of progress is what drives you to keep going. No one builds a new phase of life with a single movement, but every movement begins with a choice. And you are faced with that choice now. Starting today is not about rushing. It's about respecting the timing of opportunities. It's about not giving up the chance to occupy a space that can change your life. The time is now because the scenario is unique, because the technology is available, because the information is accessible, and because you have, in your hands, the power to learn, test, and offer value to the market. You don't have to do everything at once. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to take the first step with awareness and consistency. And little by little, you build a service here, a customer there, a new learning experience. And when you realize it, you'll be experiencing something that previously seemed impossible. So, if there is one message I would like you to take away from this video, it is this: don't wait for the perfect moment. He won't arrive. Create your moment. Start with what you have and build something of your own. If you've come this far, it's because something inside you has already understood that you can no longer stand still and wait for the world to return to the way it was before. You have already seen that the market is changing. You already understand that artificial intelligence is not an inevitable threat. It is a powerful tool, and those who learn to use it come out ahead. You've already seen that ChatGPT can be your starting point. And it doesn't matter if you've never worked online, if you have no experience as a freelancer, or if you're still trying to understand how to position yourself. The most important thing you already have: clarity and willingness to act. Now is the time to turn this into real movement. Starting digital, offering services supported by artificial intelligence, acquiring your first customers. None of this needs to be complex. What you need is direction, a focus, and constancy. Because results do not come from perfection, it comes from the action. And action starts with a simple choice. You can leave this video and go back to your routine with that feeling of "I'll see about this later." Or you can take advantage of this moment of clarity. Take everything you've learned so far and take a step forward in your professional development. And what I recommend you do now is very simple. Choose a service that you felt comfortable offering with the help of ChatGPT. It could be something small. Maybe create bios for Instagram, or write descriptions for products, or review subtitles. Choose one. Then log into ChatGPT, write a prompt, take a test. See how the text comes. Adjust, edit, improve. You don't need to publish yet. You just need to see that you can do it. This will give you a shock of positive reality, because you will realize that it is possible and that the first step is within your reach. Then, turn this example into a fictitious delivery. Build a basic portfolio, a simple, beautiful PDF that shows what you do and how you can help someone. And then, yes, publish. Post on your Instagram. Create a profile on Fiverr or 99 Freelas. Send it to people. Offer lightly. Because it is this type of movement that will open up space for real opportunities to arrive. Don't expect the ideal. Work with what is possible now. Remember, whoever hires you wants a problem solved, not a diploma displayed. And if you felt that this video gave you more clarity, that it taught you something that made sense, I want to invite you, share in the comments what your biggest challenge is today with artificial intelligence. I want to know what your starting point is. Having trouble understanding how to use ChatGPT? To find customers? To position yourself? Comment here. Because from this, I can create even more targeted content to help you on this journey in a practical way. And if you've already decided that you're going to start, tell me which service you chose to test first. I read all the comments, and this space is for you to use as support, as an exchange, as a network. This channel is not just about technology. It's about women creating new paths in a world that is changing too quickly. It's about taking control, even when everything seems uncertain. It's about no longer accepting being left behind while others adapt. It's about being part of the change from within it. And if you felt this at any point in this video, I want to remind you, you are not alone. There are thousands of women feeling exactly like you. What will make the difference between who will grow and who will stagnate is the decision to start now. And I want to accompany you in this process. So, if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now. Because in the next videos, I will show you in detail what are the most sought after AI services in 2025 and how you can position yourself in each of them. I will bring examples, strategies, and tools for you to apply in a practical way and sell online even without an audience. Furthermore, I'll show you how to create a professional portfolio with the help of artificial intelligence, even if you've never made one. So, if your focus is to build a new career with more freedom, flexibility, and intelligence, this is your space. I thank you for getting here. Now it's up to you. Start small, but start. The best way to guarantee your place in the future is to build it in the present. See you in the next video.